Hello there, you're watching Nightline. I'm Anita Wu. The headlines. Several parties keen to purchase Malaysia Airlines, says Prime Minister. And 46 potential chemical dumping sites uncovered in Pasir Gudang. We begin with our headlining story. Several parties, both local and foreign, have expressed interest to purchase the troubled national carrier, Malaysia Airlines Berhad MEB. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, however, said the government still wants to conduct a study before deciding whether to sell or keep the airline.
Saya sayang emas. Saya nak emas ini dijadikan satu airline nasional. Tetapi ternampak seolah-olah kita tak mampu.
He was speaking at the Parliament lobby earlier on Wednesday. The Prime Minister also said the previous government's strategy of providing a 6 billion ringgit allocation to Malaysia Airlines and retrenching 6,000 of its employees did not bring profits and left many aircraft not fully utilised. It was reported on March 5th, Khazanah Nasional, the government's investment wing, suffered a 7.3 billion ringgit depreciation last year, largely contributed by Malaysia Airlines' losses. Tun Dr. Mahathir further said last week that the government is considering various options, either shut, sell or refinance, before making the final decision on the future of Malaysia Airlines. At the same media conference, Tun Dr. Mahathir also said several retaliatory measures can be adopted by Malaysia if the European Union, EU, continues its unfair and discriminatory attitude against the country's palm oil.
Yes, we think that we will stop buying some European products. You see, that is one thing we can do.
On Tuesday, the Prime Minister said the government had agreed to call for Malaysia to be more aggressive politically and economically to address the palm oil ban. Earlier in the Dewan Rakyat, Tun Dr. Mahathir said the East Coast Rail Link, ECRL, will resume on a suitable scale after negotiations with China have been finalised. He also indicated that the negotiations would take some time.
Pada masa ini, kerajaan telah melantik yang amat berbahagia Tun Daim Zainuddin sebagai utusan khas Perdana Menteri bagi mengetuai proses rundingan semula projek ECRL dengan Kerajaan Republik Rakyat China supaya penyelesaian win-win dapat diperolehi. Hasil rundingan ini akan dimaklumkan apabila ia dimuktamadkan sedikit masa lagi. Jika usaha rundingan semula ini berhasil, kerajaan yakin projek ECRL akan diteruskan pada skala yang sesuai dengan manfaat yang bakal dijana oleh kesejahteraan rakyat dan menyelamatkan Malaysia dari beban hutang yang tinggi.
Tun Dr. Mahathir was replying to a question by Kuala Krau MP, Datuk Seri Dr. Ismail Muhammad Said, on the latest status of the ECRL project and whether the government would continue with the project. He said the project was suspended on July 3rd last year as the government had to evaluate and study the project again to ensure Malaysia received the best returns without jeopardising national development. During the question and answer session, Tun Dr. Mahathir also explained why Tun Daim Zainuddin was selected to head the negotiations with China. The Prime Minister said Tun Daim Zainuddin has a certain ability that made him best suited as the government's negotiator on the project. ECRL is expected to add some 1.5% gross domestic product (GDP) growth to the states involved, apart from providing heavy transportation infrastructure for cargo to attract industrial investors. Still in the Dewan Rakyat, Transport Minister Anthony Loke Siew Fook has revealed that only 10% of traffic offenders slapped with the Automated Awareness Safety System, or AWAS summonses, have come forward to pay their compounds since the system's enforcement on September 1st last year. On top of that, more than 90,000 summonses involving various traffic offences have been issued since AWAS replaced the Automated Enforcement System, AES.
Bermula 1 September, kita keluarkan saman dan sebarang saman itu mesti masuk dalam dana kerajaan. Setakat ini lebih kurang kalau tak silap saya tak ada data sekarang, lebih kurang 90,000 yang telah dikeluarkan. Tetapi dari segi bayarannya, memang ia berada di bawah kadar yang rendah, dalam lebih kurang 10% saja. Tetapi kita keluarkan saman dan adalah tanggungjawab kepada pihak yang menerima saman itu untuk membayar. Kalau tidak, tindakan mahkamah boleh diambil.
The minister was responding to a supplementary question from Santubong MP, Datuk Seri Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, at the Dewan Rakyat on Wednesday. He also said that there have been no additional installations of Awas cameras. To date, there are already 45 cameras in operation throughout Peninsular Malaysia, 29 being speed limit cameras, while another 16 for traffic light monitoring. Authorities have identified 46 potential hazardous illegal dumping sites in Pasir Gudang, Johor. Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change Minister Yeo Bin Yin said the sites were detected during satellite monitoring of the area.
Dia berpotensi menjadi sumber pencemaran dari satellite data. Tapi apabila orang masuk mungkin bukan berpotensi, sebab apabila kita tengok daripada satellite itu mungkin tak berapa jelas, oleh itu you hantar orang pergi sana tengok, ya. Untuk apa yang tak boleh tengok, tak boleh akses, kita hantar drone dulu.
She was speaking to the media after presenting a report by the ministry's scientific committee on the river's contamination in Kota Iskandar, Johor on Wednesday. Yeo said her ministry would soon provide a list for action to the Johor state government to clean up the identified locations. Yeo, who is also Bakri MP, said her ministry would also strengthen enforcement on all agencies under them as a way to prevent future illegal dumping of waste. On the recent discovery of an alleged waste dump site on the banks of Sungai Masai in Pasir Gudang, she said the waste by the river does not emit poisonous gas and is different from Sungai Kim Kim. However, samples from the river have been sent to the chemistry department for further analysis. The Housing and Local Government Ministry will refine the licensing terms and guidelines for factories, especially those involved in the handling of chemical materials. Its Minister, Zuraida Kamarudin, said the move was a step towards ensuring a more controlled environment for such operations.
Perkara yang pertama sudah tentu penguatkuasaan di peringkat nombor 1 di peringkat Kementerian KPKT sendiri yang bertanggungjawab kepada kerajaan tempatan. Jadi kena kepastian pihak PBT bila mengeluarkan lesen kepada kilang-kilang yang terlibat dalam memproses chemical dan sebagainya.
Zuraida was speaking to the media during her visit to the medic-based treatment centre in Pasir Gudang before it was closed at noon on Wednesday, after the overall air quality in the areas surrounding Sungai Kim Kim has returned to normal. She said a meeting with local authorities and the Environmental Department will be held soon to discuss and implement the matter. Meanwhile, in Putrajaya, Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said a total of 5,848 patients have received medical treatment since the Pasir Gudang chemical crisis broke out nearly 2 weeks ago. He said out of the total, 951 patients were hospitalised, 25 admitted to the intensive care unit, ICU, while the remainder received outpatient treatment.
Yang pentingnya saya melafazkan kesyukuran bahawa seperti mana yang saya sangat mendoakan dan mengharapkan tidak ada kematian sehinggalah di hujung, ya. Kita juga tidak perlu membuat pengisiran darurat. Yang satu keputusan yang kami ambil pada awal, saya tahu kita pada kedudukan yang sangat mencabar, tetapi itulah keputusan yang kami telah ambil dan hari ini terbukti bahawa keputusan itu adalah sangat wajar dan tepat, dan akhirnya kita menyaksikan kesudahannya dengan satu yang baik, ya.
Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli said this in a media conference after launching the 2019 World Oral Health Day celebration in Putrajaya on Wednesday. He added some 762 personnel from the Health Ministry were deployed to Pasir Gudang to assist patients affected by the chemical pollution. The Ministry of Entrepreneur Development has shortlisted 2 companies for the development of the third national car project. Its Minister, Datuk Seri Muhammad Rezwan Mat Yusof, said the decision on the successful bidder will be announced by Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad in the middle of this year.
There have been a lot of interest. We have shortlisted to hopefully we are still looking at East. We are in the final phase of our discussion. Tapi we are specifically looking at one. I do not want to speculate which car maker or which partner, but we are zooming to one now in the final phase of our negotiation.
Datuk Seri Muhammad Rezwan also stressed that the third national car project will be privately funded, with the government and federal agencies providing its ecosystem. The Sedition Act 1948 will continue to be used at the discretion of the police until the law is repealed. Home Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said the police could continue to use it but must do so prudently.
Contoh kalau orang kata menghina saya, tak apalah, dia benci Menteri Dalam Negeri, dia bencilah, tapi saya tak akan kata ambil tindakan terhadap dia ataupun Perdana Menteri pun pernah sebut. Orang nak mengata Perdana Menteri, tak apalah, ada orang suka, orang tak suka, contohlah, bukan tak apa tentu. Jadi bagi kita itu tidak dianggap sebagai sesuatu yang agak terlalu menghina, tapi kalau mencerca raja, institusi yang penting dalam negara, itu kita anggap berat.
Tan Sri Muhyiddin was speaking to the media after attending the 229th Prisons Day celebration at the Prisons Academy of Malaysia in Kajang, Selangor on Wednesday. He said the review process is currently in the final stage and several provisions in the law have been identified as obsolete. Earlier, Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Liew View Keong, reportedly ordered the police force to stop using the Sedition Act against anyone pending its repeal. Speaking on another matter, Tan Sri Muhyiddin said the Home Ministry, through the Prisons Department, is targeting 2/3 of prisoners to undergo rehabilitation in the community by 2030. He said the community rehabilitation program would be empowered to assist prisoners reintegrate into society and facilitate them to be useful citizens.
Program pemulihan di luar tembok penjara bersama komuniti seperti sistem parol, sistem kehadiran wajib, dan program reintegrasi penghuni hendaklah diberikan penekanan dan diperluaskan sebagai program alternatif yang secara tidak langsung akan dapat mengatasi masalah kesesakan di dalam penjara. Dengan jumlah kira-kira 39,000 banduan telah menerima manfaat program pemulihan di luar tembok penjara dan kadar residivis di bawah 0.5%. Program ini wajar diperluaskan.
Commenting further, he said cooperation with the private sector via Corporate Smart Internship, CSI, which was implemented under People on Parole or ODP program, showed positive development. Currently, 44 private companies in 12 states involving 2005 ODP have gone through the CSI program since 2016.
Langkawi International Maritime and Aerospace 519 is coming back to you at Langkawi from 26 to 30th March 2019. Certainly, the highlights are the air and maritime shows which will take place at the Masuri International Exhibition Centre and at Resorts World Langkawi. Let's come along, mark your calendar for 519. For more information, visit the official portal of 519 at www.limaexhibition.com. Don't miss it. Let's go.
Coming up after the break, unemployed man charged with murdering Nur Aisha Aliyah. Welcome back to Nightline. A special court on corruption that speeds up trials of such cases has been proposed to be extended to the High Court and the Appeals Court. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the Governance, Integrity and Anti-Corruption National Centre under the Prime Minister's Department said that if implemented, the move would ensure that corruption cases are accorded the time and priority by the courts. The statement clarified that the Special Cabinet Committee on Anti-Corruption JKKMAR meeting held on Tuesday deliberated on the enhancement of the Special Court on Corruption. Currently, a special court dealing with corruption cases already exists at the Sessions Court level. The upgrade is expected to lessen backlog cases in the courts. The centre added that they have also agreed to set up more special Sessions Courts on corruption. On Tuesday, the Prime Minister said that the federal government was planning to set up a special court for corruption to expedite trials of such cases without compromising or affecting existing court functions and operations. In Kedah, an unemployed man was charged on Wednesday with the murder of 3-year-old Nur Aisyah Aliyah Abdullah, whose body parts were found in a ravine at Gunung Raya, Langkawi earlier this month. No plea was recorded from 37-year-old Ramlan Abdul Rashid when the charge was read out before Magistrate Muhammad Rizwan Saleh. Ramlan was accused of causing the death of Nur Aisyah Aliyah at a hospital's headquarters in Langkawi on February 23rd. If found guilty, the accused faces the death penalty under Section 302 of the Penal Code. The court set March 22nd for re-mention of the case. On March 6, police found the skull and bits of hair in the ravine after Nur Aisyah Aliyah's mother reported she went missing while in the care of Ramlan and his wife. The discovery was made after police were led there by the 37-year-old suspect while his wife was released on bail. A day later, the search for the rest of the victim's remains at the same location found 2 clumps of hair and teeth. In Pahang, social media platforms went abuzz with half-naked photos of a group of women at a hill resort in Bukit Tinggi, Bentong. Their reason for doing so, they say, is part of a requirement of the motivational program the ladies were involved in. The photos that have since gone viral show several women clad only in their undergarments. According to Pahang Criminal Investigation Department Chief Dato' Uthman Nanyan, the incident, which took place on Tuesday evening, involved half of the 80-strong group of women in their 20s. He said that they were participants of a motivational program organised by a beauty company from Johor and Kuala Lumpur. The police have recorded statements from 30 women and 4 men who were participants and coordinators of the program. And the case is being investigated, according to Section 924 of the Penal Code, for acting indecently in a public place, which is liable to 3 months' imprisonment and fine if convicted. This just in. Malaysian teen Muhammad Haziq Muhammad Tarmizi, who was listed as missing following the attacks at 2 mosques in Christchurch recently, has been confirmed dead. Pulau Pinang Welfare and Caring Society Committee Chairman P. Bun Po said this was told to him by embassy personnel. 17-year-old Haziq is the son of Muhammad Tarmizi Shu'ib, 42, who is currently being treated for gunshot wounds at the Christchurch Hospital following Friday's massacre at the Al Nur Mosque. It was reported that the Malaysian High Commission in Wellington had exhausted all efforts to locate Haziq. On Tuesday, Bayan Lepas Assemblyman Azrul Mahathir Aziz said Haziq's mother had been asked by the New Zealand police to provide details on the boy, including marks on his body. In Pulau Pinang, a wanted criminal died in a shootout with police at an oil palm plantation in Nibong Tebal early Wednesday morning. Police said the suspect drove into an oil palm plantation after being chased before crashing into a barricade and shooting at the patrol car after exiting the vehicle. Policemen in defence returned several shots which killed him. According to authorities, the suspect had 28 prior criminal records, of which 11 were drug-related offences since 2007. Over in Selangor, police on Wednesday morning arrested 3 men aged between 19 and 40 in Dataran Pelangi Utama, Damansara for their alleged involvement in a number of robbery cases in the northern states. The trio were arrested while resting in front of a restaurant in a Toyota Camry, which was reported stolen in Sungai Petani. Also recovered were a revolver, a machete and an axe. Police are investigating the case under Section 8 of the Firearms Act for illegal possession of firearms. A Malaysia Airports Holdings Berhad MAHB technician whose vehicle collided with a private airplane on the tarmac of the Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport in Subang on Monday has died from injuries. 39-year-old Muhammad Ruzaimi Iskandar Ahmad Razali leaves behind his wife, Nur Azawi Ahmad Usof, and 4 children aged between 1 and 13. MAHB in a statement said Muhammad Ruzaimi died at 6:45 p.m. on Tuesday after 2 days of intensive medical care. Datuk Sri Rosmah Mansor, wife of former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak, is to apply for a stay of the decision transferring to the High Court her corruption case over the solar hybrid project for Sarawak rural schools. Her counsel, Dato' Akberdin Abdul Qadir, said on Wednesday the application will be filed soon. On November 15th last year, Rosmah pleaded not guilty in the Sessions Court to 2 counts of corruption of soliciting 187.5 million ringgit through her former aide, Datuk Rizal Mansor, and of receiving 1.5 million ringgit in bribe relating to the 1.25 billion ringgit solar hybrid project for rural schools in Sarawak in 2016. Still to come on Nightline, Australia cuts annual immigrant intake beginning July 1st. Stay tuned.
Defy the rules. See yourself like never before. Reimagine true perspective. Nova captures exceptional detail and clarity. Venture beyond the limits. Nova unlocks new horizons and possibilities. Huawei Nova 4 Punch Full View Display, 25 megapixels amazing selfie.
Malaysia hari ini sepanjang minggu. Mendekati seni gendang silap faham. Cabaran hidup berpasangan. Pengaruh K-pop terhadap industri muzik tempatan. Hari Sindrom Down Sedunia. Semuanya di MSI jam 8 pagi.
Mega Movie minggu ini.
Lived happily ever after.
Dari fantasi ke realiti.
She might be a real princess.
Saksikan pesona cinta dua dunia.
Fear not, Giselle, I will rescue you! I've been dreaming of...
Enchanted, Jumaat ini 10 malam, hanya di TV3.
Welcome back on to foreign news now. Australia on Wednesday has announced its decision to cut its annual intake of immigrants by nearly 15% and bar some new arrivals from living in its largest cities for 3 years in a bid to ease urban congestion. Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who is trailing badly in the polls ahead of a federal election in May, said he hopes to tap rising voter frustration over house prices and congestion, which some see as a consequence of population growth. He said beginning July 1st, the annual immigration intake would be cut to 160,000 versus 190,000 people previously. The cap would include places for up to 23,000 people who could migrate to Australia under a new skilled visa. New immigrants will be barred from living in Melbourne, Perth, Sydney or the Gold Coast, where infrastructure is overutilised. However, they could still gain permanent residency after living outside of Australia's largest cities for 3 years. The immigration policy change comes at a time of national reflection over Australia's attitude towards migrants after the deaths of at least 50 people during a shooting rampage at 2 mosques in New Zealand's city of Christchurch. The Indonesian government has deployed nearly 4,000 rescuers to respond to the flood-triggered disaster in the eastern Papua province as the evacuation of victims in the affected areas continue. As of Wednesday, the government has sent 800 soldiers and 700 police officers to rescue those affected by the disaster. In addition, they have also got support from some volunteers and 3,000 rescuers by the National Search and Rescue Agency, Agency for Disaster Management and other authorities. The natural disaster hit at least 34 villages in the Jayapura district during the weekend, leaving at least 104 people dead, 159 others injured and 79 missing. The government has established 7 temporary shelters in the affected areas and is planning to build more to help those in need. It has learnt that a total of 6,831 people are in dire need of medical treatment and relief supplies. Looks like that sports item wraps up Nightline this time around.